Ground Branch, a new first-person shooter tactical realistic game, which has some of the developers from the Rainbow Six games and also Ghost Recon franchise. In this video, I want to talk about the things that need to be improved, and there are a lot of things that need to be improved in this game to really reach its full potential. And also I want to talk about the good things, because I think it would be disingenuous of me to just talk about, all the things that need improving or the negatives in the game. So we'll touch upon those as well. And overall, at the end of the video, I do want to come to an overall conclusion and whether this game is for you. So let's start off with the things that need improving. This is my own personal opinion, but I think most of us can agree that accessibility for new players is atrocious right now. It seems very difficult for new players who are jumping on this game, because the game does a horrible job of explaining any of the game modes to you, how to use the controls really, and how to use certain core features in this game. Now, something like switching different weapons, like your sidearms and your primary weapons, can be very difficult in this game right now. It can be very buggy, and sometimes you can't even get your weapon up, so you're clicking on number 1 to try and pull up your weapon, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes hip-fire works, sometimes it doesn't. Things like this need to be ironed out, because this is going to push away new players instantly. And I think the biggest problem with this game right now is actually player retention. From reading some of the Steam reviews, the common denominator seems to be that people are playing for a few hours or maybe 1 hour and kind of just feeling like, I don't really understand this game, or I'm bored of this game already. And that should not be happening, because if they tighten up things like this, adding tips in the loading screen, adding a tutorial, which I think is essential to a game like this, and maybe add some background to this as well. Maybe add certain cutscenes to, the maps that you're loading into. Maybe show what you're actually doing there and what the overall objective is. Certain things like this could really tighten up the user experience and make people actually enjoy what a great game this could be. Certain features like opening doors to half and opening them full, I didn't even know was a core feature in the game, because again, the game does a horrible job of explaining what certain features are actually in the game. So it did take me watching a few videos, seeing how people did it. Say you got to press F to kind of open it a little bit, and then you can sort of quickly tap F to open the door fully. So you can actually hold F to open the door gradually, and then you can also tap F to open the door quickly. A nice feature, but the game again doesn't really tell you that it even has this in the game. Also, things like ambience in the game is almost non-existent. All you can really hear is the heavy breathing, which can be kind of annoying. And if they are trying to move forward into the competitive realm, which no doubt this game could do very well in, with that heavy breathing, it's going to be almost impossible to hear footsteps. But I think adding something like distant gunfire or breeze, wind, birds tweeting, stuff like that, that just gives a little bit of life to the maps would be a great addition as well. I know it's in its early development, but things like this can just help elevate the overall experience. Another thing that I found as well is when you're actually playing in games, you can only play 1 round, and then it kicks you back out the game and you're back into this hub, or the ready room that they call it. And I think this can be quite annoying. It would be nice to actually play more than 1 round, say add the ability to add say 4 rounds, and then you go back to the ready room or hub, where you can do things like sort your load out, change your character and how he looks, and also go on the firing range. Because it does take about a minute to get into each game. So when you're only playing 1 round, which usually only lasts about 5 minutes, so waiting a minute for each game as well, most of the time you're going to just be waiting around. So for a better experience for the player, you want to be able to play a few rounds before you go back to the ready room. They need to add more objective game modes with an actual focus, because this game would do very well with an objective. Like with Rainbow Six Siege, when you have hostage and defusing the bombs, I think those modes are very good, and that would focus the player, because this game really is about communication and working with your team. But at the moment, they're not putting much focus on that, and at the moment it's basically like a free-for-all TDM. And from the trailers that I saw for this game and the description that they give for the game, it does seem like it's all about that tactical, methodical gameplay, and it really just doesn't promote it at its current state right now. So more objective game modes would really help this game out a lot. And if they did want to move into a more competitive realm as well, I think this game would be very suited to that as well. It's high octane, it's very tense. So if you're going to watch a game on Twitch or YouTube, I think it would be very interesting to watch. And also they already have a spectator mode in the game already, so it is kind of suited to a more competitive game already. But they might not want to go down that realm, so that is up to the developers. Also, just small things like the flashbangs, I think they do sort of blind you a bit too much. It's probably about 20 seconds in its current build right now, so I think that should be toned down just a little bit, because just things like that can be a little bit annoying for the new players. But now I want to talk about the good things that this game does, and there is a lot of things. I know there's a lot of bugs with this game, and like I've said, you know, there's a lot of issues with the game right now. But starting off with the good things, this game has fantastic gunplay. I love the recoil. I like the realistic weaponry. The customization in this is probably one of the best I've seen in a game. The customization is so in depth. You can change your character's torso, you know, changing different t-shirts, different armor, different helmets, different goggles. You can put on, say, night vision goggles, you can change your weapons, and you can have there is so many things that you can do on the weapons, for instance. Changing different sights, under barrels, putting silences on, different scopes as well. It's very in-depth customization. Like I said, some of the best that I've seen in a game. So if that is the sort of thing that you enjoy, this game is definitely going to be up your street. I do like how punishing this game is, because it takes about 1 or 2 shots to take down an enemy. It is very punishing for the player, but that adds to the intensity of the game. And so if you are a fan of games like Insurgency Sandstorm, Squad, Rainbow Six, games like that, then I think Ground Branch is going to be definitely a game that you should try. The graphics aren't too bad, as it is running on the Unreal Engine 4, but I do think a lot of the effects need to be upgraded. Things like the grenades don't look great at the moment, but again, it is in early access, so a lot of these things can be ironed out. The voice comms at the moment are also in a good place. They sound okay. It doesn't, it's not too bad at the moment. The directional chat is pretty good as well. So things like that, features already implemented into this game, is very nice to see. But the biggest thing I enjoy about this game is the slow, methodical gameplay, the tactical gameplay, and especially if you play this game with more friends as well, it's a lot more enjoyable than playing on your own. So I would recommend getting a friend to get this game as well, so you can squad up with them. Because at the moment, servers are very empty and people aren't really communicating with each other. I do like the concept of it. It's not a massively unique game in that sense. It's basically, special forces versus terrorists, which we have seen in a lot of games now, especially like Rainbow Six Siege. But this game does pay homage to the old Rainbow Six games and, those earlier 2000s games. And the old Rainbow Six titles I did really enjoy. So this Ground Branch is definitely a game that I really enjoy so far. Like I said, I like those more tactical games now. So this game is definitely a game that I've got on my radar. I would like this game to come to console as well. I think that would really help the player base out as well. And the fact that more console players are enjoying these realistic, more tactical games, I think they really should sort of consider bringing this to console. But at the moment, they should focus on the PC players, because the PC build at the moment is not in a great state. But you can definitely see the framework for a very good title. And if they do this correctly and they fix out the bugs and they make it easier for the new player to get into the game and really have a good time playing it, add the objective modes, this could find itself in between, say, an Insurgency Sandstorm or a Squad or even a Rainbow Six Siege. This could be very, very popular if they execute it correctly. I know they're only an indie developer, but we have seen other indie titles do very well these days, like Mordhau and Insurgency Sandstorm as well. So this game has a big potential to be very popular. But at the moment, they haven't really pushed this game at all in terms of marketing. So I think in the coming months and even year, this game will draw in more and more players, and I really hope it's successful. So after seeing the gameplay and me talking about this game, if you like the sound of it, then please give this game a purchase because it deserves all the support it can get right now. Me personally, I do think it's worth that £15. It's a cheap game, so even if you don't enjoy it, why not just give it a go? If you are new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and also that bell notification button because these days subscriptions don't really mean that much. So until next time, have a good one.